Hey everyone, how's it going? Today's mission, let's get this XL 925 of Buckins broken down. Let's see what it looks like on the inside and kind of go from there. Gonna bag all the parts. Oh, we got a hole in that bag. Let's grab a different bag. Always use bags without giant holes in them. Pro tip of the day, friends. It is storming outside again. Yeah, I don't even know what to say anymore. One day at a time. One day at a time. Okay. So I need two 7/16s. Okay. Let's break this thing down. Kind of see where it's at. Now, these saws here, I'll bring you guys in closer in a minute. These saws here have lock tabs on the exhaust hardware. So you gotta bend the tabs back. There we go. One. These saws are known for vibration. They definitely shake. So those lock tabs were a good idea. Okay, pull this off here. We're getting rid of this muffler, but we'll bag it up anyways. We can send it back with the saw. It's always nice to give the parts back, unless the guy doesn't want them, but I always ask, do you want your parts back? I got enough parts here, friends. We don't need to stockpile everything. But yeah, sometimes people don't want their parts back, but I think it's always good to ask. Okay. Okay, got all this here. Put this in a separate bag all by itself so that we know which ones are the exhaust. There's the exhaust hardware and the muffler. Okay, grab another bag. I haven't torn one of these down in a while. Let's see how rusty I am at it. Let's get the wrap off. I sure like these saws with a wrap on them. These are just cool saws, friends. This is Canadiana at its finest. There are so many of these things in Canada. Homelite was a huge force in the 70s in my area anyways. You see 20 Homelites for every one of everything else. And then after these kind of fell off, it became Husqvarna in the 80s. We know why. Husqvarna sold a lot of good saws in the 80s. And then in the 90s, still kind of took over in my area. And we all know why. Still made some really, really good saws in the 90s. So everybody has their runs, and you guys know me, I like all saws. Okay, there's that. Let's take the recoil off. I'm gonna bring you guys in closer so you guys can see what the deal is. Okay, now for those of you that hang out here, thank you very much. Love my community. You guys are good people out there. You really are. I appreciate you guys hanging out here. Those of you that are new, welcome. If you're new here, we already put a timing wheel on this saw and did all that kind of good stuff. And now we're getting ready to break it down. Just checking, make sure everything's good here. This is a Repco ignition. I don't know if that's good or bad. Again, friends, I'm known for porting Homelites, but I'm kind of a general guy. I do everything. Not a lot of new saws. I enjoy porting the old stuff. That's just that's where my heart is. So that's typically what I do on this channel. But we already put a timing wheel on this. I kind of have an idea of where I'd like to go with it. And we're gonna pursue that. The build parameter on this saw is going to be, I want way more RPM out of it, but it has to pull 32, and it has to pull it right now. Okay. Carburetor. Let's see how tight or loose these are. Okay. So let me grab a wrench. Okay, 5/16 wrench. These bolts are This one was okay. This bottom one is super tight and it's kind of rounded, so I'll have to dig around and see what I can find in my Homelite parts stash. I got a decent amount of Homelite parts because, you know, they're so common here. So that's why I don't mind working on these things. Air filter mount. Whew. Let's find I think I got one right here, friends. A lot of these fasteners are very tight on this saw, which probably isn't a bad thing. These things do vibrate. Can't remember if there's gas and oil in this thing. I'm guessing there is. Yes, I put gas in here. And there's probably I don't think there's bar oil. I'm gonna dump this out. Well, I got this thing on its side. I might as well take the handle off. I'm super excited to get into this thing. I've been staring at this thing for a while. Time flies in my world, and sometimes I don't get to saw projects as quickly as I would like to, but that's just the way she goes. That's why I really don't take in a lot of work, friends, just because stuff would sit here too long. And I don't really want to be that guy. Okay. Put that in there. Here's our fuel line. Dumped all the fuel out here. Okay. I'm probably going to ditch this fuel line, but we'll keep it classy and not destroy it. Actually, it's not too bad. Okay, carburetor. Just want to get the handle and top end off this thing today so that I can look at it. Might as well pull the choke off. It's nice. The saw still has these little who's and what's it's. These chokes on these saws have this little tiny wee cotter pin, and they fit just so, and a lot of saws they're missing. So okay, there's that. We'll give this thing a good bath. It's not the dirtiest saw, but it could be cleaner. I cleaned it up a little bit, but I like to have a look at the reeds in the saw and make sure. I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with the reeds, just because you could tell these things don't start nicely when the reeds are no good. They're hard to start. They can idle and rev up funny, and reed saws are where it's at. You want to build horsepower? Reed saws. Okay, gasket's in good shape. What carburetor's on this? HS179A. I don't know what that's off of. Maybe I don't know, friends. You guys know what what saw that would come on? I do not. Okay. Okay, reed block. Hopefully you guys can see this. Reed block's right here. Gently, carefully take the screws out for this. They are tight. Wow. Eesh. Give me a second here, friends. I'm having a scared moment. Those screws don't feel like they're going to come out nicely. Okay, that was pretty scary. Ooh, it's time to warranty the old snap-on clicky screwdriver. I bought this, oh geez, when I was 18, I think, something like that. I had this a long time. Okay, one more. I was trying to take the handle off without taking this off, but no. There we go. There's your intake block. Just gonna throw that in a bag. Okay, so this there we go. This one bolt was really tight, which is fine, right? But hopefully you guys can see this. I couldn't get it out. You can't get a ratchet in there on these, so you can't get a ratcheting wrench either. I have many sets of ratcheting wrenches, but But often I find on these saws you can't use them because they don't fit. Okay, I'm just going to fumble with this. 4 bolts on the top, 1 on the bottom, and the handle comes right off. You got to undo the oil lines. Okay, undo the oil lines. Okay, if you guys have never worked on one of these saws before, any Homelite pretty much has this arrangement. At least all the ones I've worked on. Try not to bend these oil lines. Okay? If you bend them, you can have a really hard time getting them back together. They could leak. So I'm going to attempt to take these off both ends. In the past I've not done that, and I've crushed oil lines. Trying to save time, I created a project for myself. Just figured we'd do a full teardown video. I used to do that stuff a lot, and then I kind of went away from it, and it's nice to, you guys can see how I do things. I just do things the way I do them, and we're all like that, right? We all do things the way we do them, and whatever works for you works for me, is what I always say. I learn a lot from watching other guys tear stuff down. Okay, this one here. Again, friends, you don't, if you crush these, you start bending them. These lines can get work hardened really fast, and then work hardening is what occurs in especially like non-ferrous metals like copper, brass, aluminum. What ends up happening is as you bend them, they get hardened and then they want to crack. So way to fix that is take your torch and heat the oil line back up, and what'll end up happening is it'll soften it again. Oh, it still has the gasket in between. Interesting. This is a nice saw. You never know what you're going to get when you work on one of these. What else is attached here? Okay, kill switch. I don't know if you guys can see. There we go. Okay, there's your handle assembly with the gasket. Normally that gasket's missing. Put that down in the box. Okay, what do we got here? Now, I'm probably not going to pull the clutch off today, but I would like to actually, sorry friends, I'm just looking for tools here. I would like to actually break this thing down enough that we can look inside of it today. I want to see what's what. Just grabbing tools, friends. Sorry, I wandered off without pausing the camera there. I do that sometimes. I'm so used to having the camera on, I forget. Slightly rich, chocolate brown, not too bad. Okay, let's take off the coil. Again, these coils have, here's your kill switch wire. These coils have lock tabs on them so that they don't break off or don't rattle loose. Here you go. Grab this and this. I haven't worked on one of these in a long time. Like, many a moon has gone by since I pulled wrenches on a home at night, so. There we go. Just turned it around so that the, grab another bag so that the magnets were away. Okay. Okay, looks like these 2 bolts here. Again, friends, I'm just a jack of all, puttering in my shop. Whoever put this together Loctited everything. A little bit of a pain, but that's good. These things rattle bolts loose. They are renowned for that. I love porting Homelites, but I don't actually like running them that much anymore, friends. That's the same reason why I don't snowmobile much anymore, or really at all. Carpal tunnel. My hands don't like the vibrations anymore. I still like running these though, but this isn't a saw that I'm gonna run for a day. Just me personally. I wish I could, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles for this guy. So But I do love making them go fast. I just like porting saws. So I don't, you know, I just like porting saws. So if somebody wants a saw ported and it's something they're really into, and it's vintage especially, I'm into it also. Okay. This saw has the trigger and the coil separate. Some of the, I'm leaking fuel here, friends, but it is what it is. Some of the XL76s that I get here have a two-piece coil trigger setup. That's usually a black coil like this. If it's a blue coil, it's one piece. Oh, dropped a little washer there. Just trying to, there's lots of little fasteners in these, friends, so I try to keep them separate. Okay, put the coil in a bag. Looks like this goes around and underneath. Around and underneath. So let's take the flywheel off. Okay, stuff the rope in the exhaust spark plug hole. Undo the nut. You want to keep the nut on here because a lot of times you can crack the crankshaft. Now, sometimes that is inevitable on some of these saws, sometimes it's not. Now, I do not have a puller for this. It's hard to have, when you work on so many different saws, I just put a screwdriver here, just gentle pressure, and I just tapped this with a hammer, and off she came. Don't beat on it. If you beat on it, you're going to end up breaking your flywheel, bending your flywheel. It's not ideal, but sometimes that's just how they got to come off. And it is what it is. And again, if you're going to use a puller, make sure you put the nut on the end, because these are center drilled for a puller. But what ends up happening is, if you don't put the nut on there, what ends up happening is you end up, I think even this thing's Loctited. Yeah, looks like it. If you put a puller on here, friends, what ends up happening, if you put too much pressure, you can actually crack the crankshaft. I have done that in the past. It is always an unpleasant experience. There you go, there's our flywheel. Looks like this saw may have points in it. Interesting. Maybe it doesn't have points. Maybe it is, maybe they converted these or something. Okay, what do we got here? Okay, I gotta fart around here. I'm gonna blow all this crud out, so I can have a better look. I'd like to get these wires off of here so I can pull this trigger assembly off. Okay, two little connectors here. They're on there quite tight. Hopefully you guys can see. There we go. There's our two wires. Now, it looks like I'm going to have to take this whole mount off of here. I'd like this thing as bare as I can get it so that when I'm working on it. Wow. Yeah, every bolt on this thing is Loctited for sure. At least they feel that way. Let's see what we got under here. February 4th, 1974, it says underneath here. That's kind of neat. I didn't know that these would be that old, but I guess maybe they are. Interesting. Oh. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. Interesting. So this is like a trigger setup. I thought maybe that was a points cover, but it is not. That's a good deal there then. Okay. Okay, friends. Let's bring this home. I'm going to leave this here now so I can, I don't want to break anything. I do have quite a few saws in my own collection, but I don't want to break anything. sometimes you got to think about stuff a little bit, you know. Ooh, the shovel head wrench is not going to prevail here. Oh. These have studs and nuts on them. Sorry, I'm making a mess. That's how you know I'm getting things done. Okay, flip this around. So one thing with these, they can be hard to time because just the way they come apart and everything, but we'll play it by ear. Okay. Nice thing about these is it's all just standard off-the-shelf nuts, bolts, fasteners. Okay, get these off. These two you can get at with a socket. Just want to have a look at this top end and kind of see. Just want to see what it looks like and go from there. You never know with these old saws. Most of them Macs I've done on the channel, you pull them apart and they're usually scored up and you go, ugh. Homelites are either perfect or horribly scored. These saws have a few inherent issues. We'll talk about that. For those of you that want to port them, I'm gonna put this in the ignition bag. Rubber mallet. This thing is stuck. Wow. Interesting. Okay, this is not attached to the top end. I don't see anywhere that it is. Looks like it's moved a little bit. Just give me a second here, friends. I'm trying to make this video not 50 minutes long. This saw has never been apart. This is what you run into when you're working on the old stuff. So, patience is a virtue. Okay, I done figured it out. I mean, it would be nice to pretend that I know how every saw comes apart, but I don't, friends. I learn and grow every time I work on a saw. I got my screwdriver in here and just chook, the gasket was stuck down. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah. Cylinder's in decent shape. There is some plating wear, which is par for the course for these. Now, these have a triple transfer setup. Kind of neat. Interesting. I see what they've done here. Now, it's funny, friends. These transfers are blocked right here. You can actually see where the transfers get blocked off quite a bit. Probably about a 1/4 inch or 1/8 inch of the transfer is blocked. This is an interesting saw. I like these Homelites. They're neat. Same thing, short piston. Not as short as a 76, but still short. Oh, there's our reeds. You got to be careful with these reeds, friends. They are held in. They are held in by a small piece of rubber. And what ends up happening a lot of times, doesn't matter in this case, what ends up happening a lot of times is the reeds come apart. When you're taking the saw apart, they'll fall into the motor. Okay, there's your typical Homelite reed block. 4 reeds in a pyramid shape. That's the Homelite deal. They pretty much all have that. It's pretty neat. Okay, well, just give me a few seconds and we'll wrap this one up. We got her apart. That's the first battle. We got lots of cleaning to do. I want to show you guys this. This is a triple transfer setup. 1, 2, 3. Kind of interesting. Notice the way they're all shaped. Okay, primary, secondary, third transfer. They appear to all open at the same time. I haven't decided what I'm going to do with this. This will be the first time I port one of these. I got a lot of cleaning to do on this saw. She's never been opened, I don't think. That is an original Homelite gasket. A little bit of plating wear. You guys see that? That's what these do. They all look like that. It's just the way the cookie crumbles for these. So it doesn't scare me one bit. I've done, how many of these have I ported? How many Homelites? 3 or 4. They've all kind of looked like that. And no scoring though. So I'm happy. There's your exhaust port. Maybe I should try and take that bridge out again. I'm not going to take the bridge out, friends. Cool. So we have this thing apart. Again, see where the transfers are blocked? There and there. That's terrible for airflow. And I'll probably do some go fast moves to rectify that. I'd like to get this bracket off. I'm not sure if any of you guys know out there. Is the bearing in on this? I think it is, isn't it? I can't remember. It's been so long since I've been into one of these. I might have to heat and pull this. It's on there. I don't see a crank seal here though. I guess that's the crank seal. So, oh well, I'll figure it out, friends. Okay, friends, there you go. I'm all dirty, excited to start another build. Like I said, I got a lot of cleaning to do on this. Don't see anything too untoward on it. Bottom end feels really smooth, really tight. One note, these old power saws, the bearings in them have more tolerance, okay? These rods, you can feel play in these rods, I find. They're all like that. Don't let that scare you. Homelites do things a little different. Most of the vintage power saws you see are going to be like that, so don't let that scare you away. Other than that, I don't see anything that scares me in this saw. It's just a good old home at night. And we're going to port living snot out of this thing and see what it's going to do. I don't know. That's the fun of this, friends. I like doing saws that I've never done before because I don't know what those saws are going to do. Now, one of the reasons why these things wear piston skirts a lot is they're very short here. They ride on the transfers, okay? So when you're porting these, be careful not to take the divider out of your transfers too much, or you can create a really high friction point and actually blow these things up. So that's just the way they are. Anyhow, friends, another project. We're going to start a bunch of projects this week on the channel. I'm trying to tie up some loose ends. Things have been going on a little longer than I would like. And, you know, I got a couple of saws here that I would like to work on. Well, it's, you know, terrible weather outside. I just haven't been cutting, friends. I can't get to the wood, so it'll warm up soon enough and we'll be able to get outside and play again. In the meantime, let's get some more saws ported. So, anyhow, friends, as always, thanks for watching. Take her easy. Later.